Okay, we're back in the Lost City. I know last time I was, I think, in Sea Haven. I just came down here through Sea Haven. The reason for this is that I'd like to get the Water Shard, and I'd also like to get the Air Shard. The Air Shard is more important, but I may need the Water Shard to actually get it, and I need the Water Shard at some point anyway. Behind where Montbard was is stairs down to level 4 of the Lost City, and then you may remember that the ghouls were, I believe, had a stairway down to level 3, which seems a little weird, but for whatever reason, 3 is much, much more difficult than 4. One of the reasons that I was a little weary of coming down to 4 was because I couldn't remember how it compared to 3. I think it's easier, though. See, those are, I think, those are elite ghouls, which are not as bad as ravenous ghouls. Ravenous ghouls would be much worse, so this is not as bad as it could be, although I just made the dumb mistake of killing the guy that was blocking them, but we managed to get an extra turn. So, we lucked out there, because these guys won't be able to actually shoot at us. Now again, I'm using Fire Blast instead of Fireball, because Fireball is just really mana inefficient. It's okay if you've got like 3 enemies in front of you and nothing else, but compare it, okay, 30 mana to do 55 to 91, versus 20 to do 91 to 127 to 1, and then Fire Blast is only like 5 extra mana, or what is it? Yeah, 15 extra mana to do like more than twice as much damage. So it has a higher chance not to crit. All the spell crit is the same, but if it crits, because it has a higher damage output, it will do a ton more damage. And of course, if there's multiple targets or targets behind you, then it's just straight up better. Just to show, Poison Cloud's not actually going to be useful here, even though... But Acid Splash removes removes half their melee block attempts and general block attempts down to a minimum of 1, which is okay, but both of our melee fighters have Unstoppable Assault, so they can't get blocked anyway. What's nice about it, though, is it removes armor, half of the armor value, and it actually stacks with Torn Armor. Now, the way this works is kind of confusing. Torn Armor technically removes a percentage of their defense, because essentially, 33 armor is 33% defense, but what kind of happens is it like lowers their armor by a certain amount, and then it halves whatever's left over. So that's good and bad. It's less effective if you have a very strong Sunder, but any amount of damage reduction is going to lower the amount of damage that your party is dealing, so anything that can enhance the amount of damage you're dealing is good to have. There's probably a secret around here. I want to clear the floor first. This is a riddle chest, which is incredibly hard to figure out. There is actually an answer that the game will tell you. It's palimpsest. The reason... First of all, that is the answer to the riddle, but an NPC will actually tell you about it, I think in Carthal, which gives us a nice chest. I could do with more money, but the Elven Longbow may be worth something once identified. In addition, over here, of all things, is some stairs to Castle Port Marin, which means that you could sort of go between Sea Haven and the castle without actually going above ground, but I think it's actually faster to just go normally, so going overland is probably better. But there's some treasure here, which again, I think it's like low tier chapter 1 treasure. That was an eyeball amulet, which is like the weakest thing. And that opens this area. I was saying that I thought there was a secret here. There is, but you can't get to it until you come here from the Lost City, and there's nothing really of interest outside of that. It's there, I guess, if you wanted to go straight to John Morgan after killing Montbard. You'd only have to go through that one encounter, and then you could do that, but normally you have so much money that you want to go back to or so much treasure that you want to go back to Sea Haven. Perception. Okay. Yeah, this is not quite as difficult as I was expecting. Okay, now this area I know has a secret in it, so I may need to... Do I even have a Whispering Shadow Scroll? I do not. I may need to actually go buy one. This is the Heavy Armor Grandmaster. He'll just train you for free. There's a secret right here, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. I don't know if it's here or somewhere else, but there's a secret in here. So I need to make a mark just so that I remember. Okay, there's a little bit of difficulty past there, and a fight up there, I believe. I can't remember which way we want to go first, though. But we'll save here.
Yes, I feel it. They're attacking from the side!
Yeah, some ghosts. Now, as I said, ghosts can go through walls, but for whatever reason, as long as they kind of have a clear path to you, they're not going to. Again, I could Poison Cloud. This is totally kind of useless. Actually, it's not useless, and I'll show another use for Poison Cloud eventually here. I'll also try Fire Shield just to see how it goes. These are undead, so they're not an ideal. Oh, well, there you go. See? Fire Blast spell crits. Some serious stuff. An annoyance about Fire Shield is it puts this effect, and you can hear the burning. It's just really aggravating. I don't know. It doesn't bother some people, but it's a very intrusive visual effect, which kind of bugs me. There may be secrets over here as well. I really should have just brought Whispering Shadows. And that's just a shortcut to somewhere. I could swear that there's, like, treasure around here. I may need to do something else here first. Can't remember which direction I'm supposed to be going.
There are enemies ahead.
Okay, it's kind of hard to see where these enemies are because they're up above us, but again, there's no such thing as real elevation in this. See who we can blow up. I guess there wasn't anybody behind us there. But, again, those spell crits can do a ton of damage.
And stay down.
Even she's getting in on it.
And stay down.
You can see that it's reasonably competitive here between the Might characters and the Magic characters, but the Might characters are a lot more mana efficient. Unstoppable Assault is only 10 mana, and even though they are not pumping their mana very much, they almost never run out of it. Now, part of that is they do have mana drain weapons, but he's not using the mana drain weapon most of the time.
They're attacking from the side!
Okay. Is there somebody behind?
We're being attacked from behind. And stay down. And stay down.
Again, I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. Anyway, for the spellcasters, they don't miss, but Unstoppable Assault prevents that anyway. The advantage that the spellcasters have is they do a lot more area of effect damage. And while they have mana, they're just incredibly valuable. The only problem is that they're more mana dependent, so you're resting a lot more. But ultimately, I think the game is well balanced in the sense that you kind of need both. You're not really going to get by with an all-might or all-magic party, and even if you take them, you're going to need to take, like, expert fire for burning determination, things like that, some utility spells. You'll probably also want something like light if you can get it. Okay, I think it's somewhere over here. Can't remember where this thing is. There's a key. I think it's over here, maybe? Yeah, okay, I think it's this way.
They're flanking us!
I needed to hit something. I feel stronger.
Let's see here. Yeah, I'll try the Fire Shield again, just to see what happens with it. It does, you know, it does actually help some. And it would help at Grandmaster Fire. It'll start doing considerably more damage at Grandmaster Fire, I think. I don't think we're at the point where that can really be made useful yet, but it's a little bit of extra damage. It's not bad. And did she kill them both? She did. See, Blizzard's no slouch. It just takes forever to get. But notice that it's only 20 mana, which for 30 mana, Fireball can do 55 to 91, but Blizzard is doing 94 to 132 for 10 mana less. So Blizzard is just insanely efficient, which is good because she's the primary healer and buffer, so we kind of need her to be efficient. I know there's a key here somewhere. Basically, there's a gold key that opens the door to... Okay. I'll show it off even though it's kind of useless. Just the other use of Poison Cloud. Okay, so here's the other use of Poison Cloud. Now these guys are ranged attackers, they have javelins. If I put Poison Cloud up, they walk towards us. Now the poison is useless against them because undead are immune to poison, but Poison Cloud essentially counts as an obstruction. Enemies cannot fire through it. Now you actually can fire through it. It's not actually an obstruction. It's just enemies will treat it like one. They will assume that they can't shoot through it, and they will just walk towards it. Skeletal Spearmen are actually, I think, higher tier. They're like the Ravenous Ghouls of their sort of thing. So these are more like floor 3 enemies that are actually now on floor 4. I think the key that we're looking for is past these guys. She's weak, and I should probably just remove that. He's weak, but I don't care. Acid Splash him. That does improve our damage pretty considerably. But it's useless to use more than once, especially since... I think this is actually the door to level 3, yeah, which, again, don't go that way yet. That's really dangerous. That opens that door. That opens that door. I'll rest again. Resting, actually, I forgot about this. Resting clears a number of status effects. That may be a secret, too. I'll make a note here just to come back here with scrolls or something. It's kind of a pain, but that's pretty much the only reason why taking a Dart Caster is that important.
There are enemies ahead.
Okay, now there's ghosts, there's guys like that, but that guy is in the way, so really it probably isn't going to matter. Plus, I can just do this. Otherwise, a Poison Cloud would be a good way to essentially prevent them from getting to you. But I don't think that's really going to be an issue here. Okay. I'm not going to have him waste his mana yet. Now I'm going to have him waste his mana. Now, Ravenous Ghouls are really dangerous and should probably be killed first. But in this case, I think the Elite Skeletons are more of a threat, because regular ghouls just don't have very much health. But yeah, watch out for the Ravenous ones, which those are floor 3 enemies, so we shouldn't be seeing those except at the entrances to the floor. Now, for some reason, you know, even though they're completely incorporeal, yeah, you can Acid Splash a Ghost. But Acid Splash is better against physical enemies more than it is magical ones. But nothing's unappreciated here. That is pretty much the only downside to a Rune Priest, is they blow through their mana really quickly, but the damage that they're doing is absolutely worth it. Okay. There it is, there's the key. I knew there was something somewhere. And a shortcut. So we need to go back over to there. And we get ambushed again.
Being attacked from behind.
I should have expected that would happen.
Well,
This is one of those examples of an ambush that respawns, or that spawns after you've passed through an area safely. I forgot this one was here. Fortunately, it was just some ghouls. So, it shouldn't be a serious problem. Alright, now let's head back to that door.
there are enemies ahead.
Oh, and another ambush. Oh, yeah. Okay, now this is a good place to Poison Cloud. Because these guys will just spam magic at us if we don't. But as you can see, we can shoot through. It's perfectly fine for us. And in fact, there's nothing that prevents anyone from shooting through
Well, thank you for that.
one of these things. The AI just thinks it can't shoot through them, so it doesn't. The other nice thing about Poison Cloud is, in addition to doing damage every turn that it exists, which makes it more efficient than Poison Spray, it also just has more chances to poison something if it can be poisoned. So if you get a resist, you don't have to keep spamming Poison Spray.
Stay down.
So in addition to the fact that it kind of blocks things, it's nice. I think it can poison your party if you walk into it, but there's almost never going to be a situation where that happens. It will usually be gone by the time your party can even move again. Okay, hit again, so we'll put it back up. Okay, are they done ambushing me now? I'm guessing no, but we'll see. Nope, they're not done ambushing me. I mean, technically these guys are not in ambush, because...
Well, thank you for that.
Stay down.
Oh, there you go. And a very timely... now we're gonna get pounded by ranged. So once again, we Poison Cloud up. Even though it's useless against undead, it's not useless in the sense that it is actually helping us in some way. It's odd. Did the ghosts dodge around or something? I should have seen damaged figures for them. I guess they don't want to move. There we go. Because these are pretty much primarily spellcasters, they can do quite a lot of damage to us, because most of our defenses are going to be physical. We do have resistances, and actually she has the highest resistances of all of us. But we still have some issues there. Let's see. Will and Resolve. 18 evade, extra protection against magical sleep. These are good bracelets. They're not great, but they're alright. Everything else, I'm pretty sure all of our other relics have maxed out a long time ago. Okay. And there's the water shard. And some loot, which is nice.
This looks powerful.
As it so happens, we need to go to the Elemental Forge, so we can actually use this castle access to basically go back, talk to Lev, and fly to the Elemental Forge. Which, remember, we can't enter the Elemental Forge without water walking, which we're about to get, but we need to actually fly there one more time so that we can actually get it. The only annoying thing here is that I either have to go all the way up to the top floor and walk into John Morgan's room, or I need to leave, go
Happy to see
outside,
you.
and then
Happy
walk
to see you
back
again,
in.
my friends. What news do you...
But the good news is we can go straight to the Elemental Forge. Now there will be, I think, a chest full of magical loot if we complete the water shards, so again, more money. I don't know exactly how much yet, but we'll find out. Now, the water shard is down on level 2 with fire shard. The bottom floor where we did the earth shard first also has the darkness shard, which we won't get for a while. It's actually a really useful shard, but we don't have time for that yet. The top floor there is going to be air and light. We will be getting the air shard soon, but not yet. Okay, the water shard's over here. Yeah, now there's a couple of water elementals in there, so I'll level up before we, and rest before we drop in. Got a bunch of points available. I need to save 10, but after that I'm not sure what to do with him. Maybe endurance. Maybe arcane discipline. It's actually a difficult call. I'll just do arcane discipline to 5. Or on the other hand, he'll probably gain another level, so I can take it up to that. Getting the points into there, getting the expert training isn't that important. It just lowers the amount of critical magic damage taken, which you don't get critted by magic too often, but it doesn't hurt to have. Each point in Arcane Discipline is 1% resistance. Doesn't sound like much, and it really isn't, but it can add up, especially if you're able to get it up to Master. It's a good filler. That's something that I usually use for filler eventually. And this is a good reason now where I really want to get him promoted as soon as possible, because if he can get Grandmaster in Focus and Fire, he's going to be insane. From here, I'll probably master Primordial for a couple of the utility spells, and then decide what to do from there. Again, possibly Arcane Discipline. I'm not big on Mysticism. Endurance is okay because more health is always helpful, but Mysticism is less efficient. Basically, you get 5 mana per point in Mysticism. It's a lot less efficient than just putting points into Spirit. Stat points from leveling up are a lot less limited than skill points, and putting in like 10 points to get 50 mana, it's just not a very good deal. Now you do get maximum mana boosts for training, so it's not terrible if you have a lot of mana anyway, but we'll see. Okay, Grandmaster Water. Now I may take her to Grandmaster Earth because Earth is really useful. I'll just have to think about that one though, so I don't want to spend it yet. And we'll rest. And now that we have this shard,
There are enemies ahead.
we can just walk inside. These are water elementals. They're not super threatening, although I don't know why the hell I decided to cast a water spell on them.
Take cover!
They're mostly just casters. I think they're casting, Ice Storm, which is basically like Blizzard. It's not quite as good. They're not a huge threat. Now we have a puzzle room, which this puzzle is kind of dumb. It's not really all that hard to figure out, and it's kind of hard, though, to tell what it is you're supposed to do here. So you've got these 2 troughs full of water, and the water can change colors. I don't know why, but it can. And they're pointed just at nothing. So what you need to do is use these 3 switches over here. I'm just mapping out the area for the sake of it. You need to use these 3 switches over here to basically... first of all, obviously the water needs to be redirected into this pond thing. So the right switch... I forget what that does. I guess those change colors. So the center switch changes the orientation. So we need them pouring into this thing. Okay, the water is green. We don't want that. Purple. What color is it now? It's supposed to be like blue, but there's multiple shades that are very similar to each other. So I'm not actually sure what we're supposed to do here, except just fiddle with it until it works correctly. Okay, so this controls, I think, the color, I guess? The other one controls the flow. So we want blue. There we go. I don't know why. I guess you want the highest intensity blue water into the pond. And there you go. Now there's going to be a boss, so let's
I feel stronger.
buff up here. I don't know that that's actually useful, because I think it casts water spells, so we want Water Ward, not... Which is plus 20 resistance. That's as much as the stones give us, so she's got quite a lot now. If she gets to Grandmaster, it'll be huge. It'll be like another, like, maybe 10 points, possibly more, so... Let's see here. Arcane Ward will give plus 5 doll, so that's plus 25 water resistance right there. That's not terrible, not bad though. Now we interact, and we have to fight this Watercaster boss, which I could go to her, but... Oh, she's buffing herself, that's why. So, Liquid Membrane lowers the damage that we would deal to her, which kind of sucks, but I don't think she's a huge threat. Now, she is immune to poison, but she's not immune to earth damage, so that's why she took damage from the cloud. She didn't get poisoned, because she's a boss. But that's okay. If you had the dark spell Purge, you could get rid of this Liquid Membrane, which would be a huge help. Unfortunately, we can't. But we can Shredder Armor, an Acid Splasher, which will somewhat mitigate. You know what, I'm actually going to cast the Flame Shield. I think it applies to melee attacks, so it won't help us at all. Good idea, me. See, we normally would be doing like almost 300 damage, so Liquid Membrane is as helpful for her as it is for others, but her offense isn't quite high enough here to... If she's using the AoE, we should be able to just take her out this turn.
Again, the raid.
There we go. So we now have the Blessing of Shalasa, the Water Dragon, which the Earth Dragon thing just opened up those forest paths, which we didn't even see until we had the Earth Blessing anyway. The Shalasa Blessing, in addition to giving us water resistance, allows us to walk on water, which that's pretty huge. It's one of the two necessary things to complete the game. The other being air walking, which we can actually get pretty soon here too. But water walking was probably going to be easier to get. This is strange. This is basically a fire barrier. This is the treasure room for both the fire and water sides, but we can't get to the fire treasure yet. Water resistance and a bunch more loot, which I won't turn down. In addition, you get these scrolls. As I said, you get the scrolls of the Grandmaster spell, which Crushing Weight was the Earth one, and it sucks, and it's not especially good. But Tsunami is a good spell. The damage is not that impressive. It would be impressive if a Grandmaster Watercaster were casting it, which she will be. But the main advantage of it is that it pushes people back. This can be exploited to basically keep enemies away from you at all times. So it's not bad. And it does quite a lot of damage for... You can't really see it on the scroll, but the mana cost of Tsunami, like with Blizzard, is fairly low for how much damage it does. So it's one of the more mana-efficient abilities in the game, which is nice to have. Unfortunately, that's all we can do in the Elemental Forge right now, but what we can do is walk out the front door for once. because we can now walk on water, so we don't have to fly back to the castle anymore. It's almost always going to be faster to just walk to the door now. Now there's a bunch of stuff we could do involving sunken ships and things like that, but I don't want to do them yet solely because...
Wait, did you hear that?
There you go. See? Walked right off. You don't need to do anything. There's no like special prompt or anything for walking on water. It's just now you can. Let's see. Can we identify everything here? We probably should. Oh, don't get disappointed in the buy prices. Remember, they go down. Let's see what we got. 900? Okay, I'll take that. 900? Okay. Shields are worth quite a lot, and although these are only green, they have suffix, which I think those are worth more. And the effects on them are not good, so free money. Staff of Chills. That's good. Money, money. Okay, we got some actual money going on here. More importantly, Water Magic Scholar. We're trading resistance for 1 level of water magic. I think that's worth it. Resistance. Not really anything there. Not really anything there. I don't think any of these are actually worth using other than that, but we'll see. Magical Focus skill, that's actually not bad. It's not great, though. No, most of this stuff is just junk, which is fine, because I need the money. Yeah. Pretty much all just garbage. Oh, wait, no. Fire Magic Ring. Yeah, that's an improvement. Not by a ton, but it's something. Okay, so we actually got some decent bonuses here. Is this bow better than hers? I think it is. Yeah. Okay. So, we'll give her the bow. I'm going to go back to the inn over here and restock our supplies, because I think now we finally actually have the money to afford them. Because we've got almost 4K and a ton of money sitting in our packs. I just need to find the right person to actually... Yeah. Okay, now where's a good store other than in Carthval? There is a merchant NPC, but I don't think you can actually do that unless you hire him, so I'm going to have to walk back to Sea Haven here. But I want to do that because I do need to get this money, and I need to clear the inventory space. More important than the money is the inventory space, because I'm going to be going to another dungeon to try and get the air shard. And to do that, I'm definitely going to want... empty packs. Because there is quite a bit in the other dungeon. Technically, it's a dungeon you're supposed to come back to later for numerous reasons, but as you may see, it's such a stupid gating mechanism that it's easy to get past it unintentionally. Also, we've got a mana elixir, which I've usually been giving her. I think she probably has enough mana, but maybe not, actually, because once she gets promoted, she's going to be using a lot more. Okay, I don't need to go to the inn. I need to go to a store. I'll also check the magic focus selection while I'm here, because he really would like a fire magic orb, but thus far I've had no hope for that. Oh, but here's something. It might not be good. Oh, there it is. Disciple's Orb with a Fire Magic Scholar. That's relatively cheap, so I may pick that up once I'm done selling everything else. Let's see here. Oh, look at all that money for the first time. That. Now we're rolling in it. I could also probably sell the Tsunami Scrolls. I'm not likely to use them, but I think I'll hold off on that for now. Okay, we've got 2 Disciples Orbs of the Fire Magic Scholar that we can actually get him. So the Thunderstaff can actually go. Because he's got Master Magic Focus, which means he can dual wield these, which means he gets plus 4 levels, which is 20% more damage. And we can also sell the Thunderstaff, because I'm never going to use it again, and it's 3,000 gold. So we are now in good shape financially. We will lose pretty much all this money if we buy an upgrade for either of these two. We can probably get by without it for now. The good news is that if I buy her a Dragon Spear of mana draining or something like that, or a Relentless Dragon Spear, and keep this one for mana draining, at that point I think she will be pretty much settled for the rest of the game. So although it would be expensive to invest in, it might be worth doing just because it guarantees that we don't have a problem with that anymore. Okay, she's holding 2. His amulet, what does his amulet do? 3 fire magic, 2 fire magic, so that's not very good. These rings are like the top tier rings. For whatever reason, he just happens to have those. They're extremely expensive. They'd be really good. 6 levels of earth magic would be insanely good, but again, kind of hard to afford that. I'm also half tempted to buy some medium mana potions, but I'm going to hold off on that because I don't know that I actually need them. The Whispering Shadow Scrolls, I probably want the cheaper ones just because I don't use them for 200 turns, and 1,000 for Whispering Shadows is generally not going to make back that investment. Still, we're in good shape here. Levels are good. Skills are good. We've got some money. So I think we're in shape to go tackle Skull Rock, which is a Naga dungeon. I mentioned this while I was wandering around the Wildlands. It's the main base of the cult that took over the lighthouse earlier in the game. They're the ones who stole the bounty hunter's sword. They're also important for the main quest, so we can actually end up partially skipping part of the main quest. Not really, because it ends up requiring you to jump through some silly hoops if you do all of the parts ahead of time, but it's still nice. Where's that fountain? Is it down here? Yeah, it's down here. Okay. Now, normally I wouldn't be in a huge rush to get the air shard. There's not really a ton of value that it provides. The reason why I want it is because basically every single one of these characters requires the air shard to promote except her. She promotes as soon as we get into Carthal, which we could do very trivially, but her promotion is not nearly as important as these three's.
I feel
she gets some decent bonuses and she can grandmaster her spells, but outside of that, it's like nothing huge. By comparison, these guys get some pretty insane upgrades once they promote, so they're the first people that I want to get promoted, and they all require airwalking to get into the mountains. These two, this area up north, Temple of Elath, and there's an area down here for her promotion quest, so these two are up there. And then Sudgerd is his promotion quest. Sudgerd is really hard, but by the time we get there, hopefully we'll have enough people promoted that we can get through it. The other thing I want to do, now that I can water walk, is talk to her. She's the Arcane Discipline Grandmaster. She tells you, come back tomorrow. So your quest is to wait 1 day. Okay, now there's some air and water elementals.
Great! Enemies to kill!
Elite air elementals, which would normally be very bad, except, again, Poison Cloud gives us some advantages. And air elementals do not have a ton of health. So those ones that killed us so quickly in the Elemental Forge, they're really nasty, but because of the Poison Cloud, they can't stand there at a distance and just spam spells at us. They can hit very hard if they do get a cast off.
Thank you for that.
Granted, those are elites, but still, that's pretty nasty.
Yes! I feel strong!
Get a water ward. Not really anything to say much about that, it's just what it is. Just mapping out some water here. There's not a whole lot of interest out on the water. In fact, this whole area just pretty much existed for those air elementals and nothing else. But we need to take 100 steps on water for Water Magic Grandmaster anyway, which that's trivial. We'll have done that fairly quickly here. And we're not even promoted yet, so we're not in any huge hurry to finish that one, but it does give free experience for completing a Grandmaster quest. Nobody had anything to say about the difficulty of the dungeon, which that's unusual. So I can't tell if they think it's going to be easy or hard. It's going to be fairly difficult, but I don't know how difficult yet.
Be careful. We don't know what dwells down there.
Yeah, we do. It's Nagas. They're right there, dude. Okay.
Well, thank you for that. I needed to hit something.
The other nice thing about Poison Cloud is you can precast it, so people will walk right into it. Now these guys have a lot of block attempts, so Acid Splash can be good for lowering their ability to block. It's a little hard to remember, but now see, he gets multiple retaliation attacks, so he also gets hit really hard by these flame shield attacks. So this is a situation where, because these things are alive, they're not resisting our that's a magic mind effect. That wasn't going to work anyway. Anyway, these things are alive, so they can be poisoned. They're negatively resistant to fire, so that's also valuable. Although these things may not have negative fire resistance because they're slightly stronger, but their fire resistance is weaker than their other resistances.
Enemies to kill!
Okay. Oh, weird. We got a terror proc off one of our bows that made him run away, which I have pretty much never seen that because I almost never used the dark magic spell Terror. Mainly because now he's wandered off and he's where that priestess is, so if I didn't have the Poison Cloud up, then we would actually be in bad shape because the priestess would be able to shoot at us. So yeah, Terror is not that good. But if she's going to approach us and leave these other two out of the loop, I'm okay with that. Let's see here.
Yes, I feel strong.
We'll focus on her though, because I do want to make sure we get rid of her. And these guys will tear themselves apart on retaliation blows. Yeah, I mean, he's hitting 4 times a turn, which he's not hitting for a ton, and yet he's taking the retaliation damage every time. So that's actually pretty good with Fire Shield there. That's one reason why, even though these are fairly strong for what we're fighting relative to other things that we fought, they're taking a lot of resources to fight, but they're beatable, unlike, say, Undead, who are generally quite annoying. These guys are not so annoying as to be unworkable. That just leads back to the entrance. There's a few little tricks you can use and some ambushes that they'll pull off here.
Great, I needed to hit something.
I feel stronger.
So yeah, Fire Shield has actually been proving quite useful to us here. Just for the extra damage there. Him. Just to keep ourselves out of trouble here. And
I kill you.
yeah, that Battle Spirit, that's another buff that could be removed. It's if we had Purge, which we don't, so just have to deal with it. But if you have a Dark Caster, and he killed himself. There we go. Now here's the part that you're gated from, and I'm going to actually wander off and ignore it for a moment, but I want to look at it just so that anybody watching can try to guess this. If you try to go downstairs, you're asked for the password. Okay. So what is the password? Now, remember, we've been given no hints about this. The game will tell us what the password is eventually, but we're expected to just, not answer and, come back later. But what do you think the password is? Now, flipping that switch brought some enemies our way. I probably should have rested here, but may be able to get away with it.
Yes, I feel strong.
Because we do have some of these extra potions here. He hit real hard and bled him, so that's good.
Kill you.
Now we are still in combat, although the enemy that we're actually worried about is nowhere near us yet. I hate to do it, but I'll do it. These guys are kind of trickling in, which is not good for them, but good for us. Alright, she's got mind immunity. Please don't do that. Swap axes here so that he can get some mana back. It's the liquid membrane that's keeping us going here. It reduces the amount of damage that we're taking by quite a bit. Now the one thing about ice spells and fire shield is there's kind of some anti-synergy there, just because obviously if they're attacking less, then they're not getting as many retaliation hits back on them, but it's really a minor issue. Who else do we have to deal with? Okay, I think she's the threat here, but she does not want to move. She's got kind of an awkward way of moving anyway, so... Now again, she would probably pelt us with spells or something, but we can drop the poison cloud here. And she'll walk right into it. Would be nice if we could purge her, but that's not going to happen. Okay, we managed to get through that relatively easy. But there's another threat, another fight or two
There are enemies ahead.
this way that are actually fairly considerably dangerous. I'm going to back up just so that we don't have anybody flanking us. I'm not hugely concerned that they will, but it's just something to keep in mind.
Well, thank you for that.
Okay, now everybody's kind of channeled in here, which is good news for us, because that means we can let them bunch up and get blown up.
Kill you.
I'll just have our main nuker focus on nuking, just blowing up this large group here, while she focuses mostly on just healing. I could throw up the shield and be more defensive about it, but there's really no reason to. Now, he buffed himself before she moved into the square, which is actually good, because it means that she's not going to do more damage, which could actually be really bad, because her spells are dangerous. As you can see, their magic focus attacks are really not cutting it at this point. The Thunderstaff was okay just due to how much raw damage it did, but this one not so much. Okay, 1 day has passed, so we could go back and talk to the Arcane Discipline Grandmaster. I mean, I'm not going to right now, it's kind of a waste, but there's also this bridge, which for whatever reason is not down, so that's suspicious. It's obviously a shortcut back to another part of the level, but why isn't it open? And the answer to that is back here somewhere. I think I might need torchlight here to see it. There's like a lever or something to drop the bridge, and that will also spawn an ambush. But I'm trying to remember where this lever is. I know there's an ambush here. I know that as soon as that bridge drops, like, another group of Naga spawn in. I'm quite certain of it. And I don't think there are any secret passages here, because these walls can't be secret passage walls. It's one of those situations where I know that there's something going on here, and I just don't know what I missed. Maybe a switch over here somewhere, or something. You can definitely connect these two, and in doing so, I believe it spawns more enemies. But for the life of me, I can't remember where. So I guess it's not important right now. We'll figure it out later. So, what is the password? What could the password possibly be? It couldn't be something stupid, corny, and easy to guess, right? Like, the password wouldn't be swordfish. You know, because that's always, oh, it is the password. There you go, the password is swordfish. Marx Brothers joke, and you're in. So, that's it. That was the whole thing. This is technically a sequence break, but, like, come on, that's so freaking obvious. You're in, like, a dungeon full of fishmen, and the answer is swordfish.
Enemies to kill!
Now we got more enemies to deal with here. But I don't think they're that much stronger. I mean, they're elites, but we've been fighting elites for a while. At least among Naga, so I'm not hugely concerned. We do probably want celestial armor up.
Banja!
Now I need to switch him back to the hacker for more damage. That's better. And can I make it through this one without rest? Probably not, but he did kill himself on the retaliation, so that's funny. Yeah, we may get hit too hard here to keep up, but no, we got it. Okay, great. I was hoping to save some potions, and I did, so that's useful. Now, there's still more enemies over here, so I may as well just engage them.
Enemies to kill!
Another Kensei, a Warlord, and another Elite Pearl Priestess, which, again, not a huge problem, but something to keep in mind. And I think there's another, no there's not. I thought there was another Kensei there, but there isn't. Now, the Naga Warlord does retaliate against us, but I think in doing so he ends up hitting himself doubly, so that's fine by me. He has a fair number of blocks, though. Now, I'm hitting the Priestess back there. She can't come in here because Naga are, like, large. She can't now, but she couldn't before, which means that she actually couldn't buff him with Liquid Membrane or the Warlord with Liquid Membrane, which is good, because I don't want them buffing. Oh yeah, there was another Kensei. He just randomly decided to not show up. Probably because he was obstructed and he just didn't see any point in walking closer. That's fine by me. Okay, yeah, we're gonna need a potion here. Much as I hate to do it, I'm gonna need it. There we go. I hate to rest again here, because she still has some mana. It may prove necessary, and honestly, we may get enough money from this that I'm not super worried about it, but I don't want to blow money now that we finally have some, because I'd like to save up for something useful. Okay, this is definitely an ambush. I know this one. There's a chest at the back. This will happen a couple of times on this floor. You open the chest, and a bunch of Naga come in the room behind you. I could rest. Okay, there's the sword.
Look, ancestors will be proud.
And then we've got 2 Kensei, 2 Priestesses, and a Warlord, which we fought about as much before. So this isn't so bad. Just set up a poison cloud so that they have to keep coming towards us. They probably have to do that anyway, just because the melee guys get in front of the priestesses, which kind of prevents them from going, and the melee guys, they can't. I can't tell if somebody's behind. I think they're all over to the side, so I don't want to blow a fire blast just yet. Put up the flame shield first. Now we'll start nuking.
Take cover.
Yeah, I'll just keep popping these potions. I hate to do it, but if you're not using them, then what's the point of having them? The Warlord is immune. Okay, see, that's bad. That's kind of bad, because she's now got the buff on her from that, which does extra damage. I do not want that. I want her dead quickly. Because her spells will be doing way more damage. By comparison, the Warlord isn't huge as a problem. He's mostly a defensive threat. So he's relatively easy to deal with. He's tanky, and he buffs. That's his main threat. The Kensei, they hit many times, but they don't hit very hard. And then the Priestesses are the real threat, because they hit with spells, and they can hit the whole party. I think we're okay, though. Let's see here. That's a nice crit. That's a very nice crit. Let's see if we can actually survive this. He's an elite, so he's immune to the mind magics. You know what? We're just going to pop one of these. We've got enough of these. I'll give it a try tanking it out.
I'm hurt.
Okay, he decided to attack different people, so he ended up kind of wasting his abilities there. That's not a problem. So we've got the sword, which is good. That's not what we came here for, but it's free experience and a free relic. A relic we're probably never going to use, but, you know, whatever. Okay, now over there is where the air shard is. There's a boss mermaid and some regular mermaids. I don't want to fight them yet, although I could. Don't think they're a huge threat compared to the Naga, but they could be a little bit tricky. So instead, I just want to look around here. There's another ambush, I believe, in here with that chest there. Yeah, this is another ambush spot. That chest will definitely spawn an ambush. Yeah, the Black Fang's chest. Now, what this is completely unexplained if you come in here early, because you're supposed to be coming down to the second floor for this.
There are enemies ahead.
Now, the enemies will kind of swarm in here.
Yes, I feel strong.
And again, I'm taking a step back onto the chest square, because if I just stayed here, they would put me in combat, and then they'd be able to flank me. This way, at least, they're not able to do that. I'm not hugely concerned about that, but just to be on the safe side. Now, some of them did actually now go and stand in front of each other, so now we can take advantage of that. This Kensei is actually really weak. He's not an elite, as opposed to these others, so the amount of damage that he can do is not a significant threat, so I'm actually going to ignore him now. I think he'll just die to poison or retaliations. That's a non-elite Naga Warlord, so I'm also not hugely concerned about him. I don't know why these guys are so much easier than the other ones. I guess it's because it's a main quest thing, and the Bounty Hunter Sword is technically optional, but that's not even an elite Pearl Priestess. That's like Lighthouse tier, except I think she's actually got a little more hit points and a stronger liquid membrane, but we pretty much just beat up on her. Because I don't think she really poses a significant threat. Switch back to the hacker there. Okie doke. That wasn't terrible. Now we gotta deal with the mermaids.
Something's coming our way.
And I should have rested, but I didn't realize they would aggro. That's fine though, because we can just kind of walk away.
Well, thank you for that.
Okay, so we got 2 elite mermaids, and then there's also a boss, but she may not actually be able to fit in this square. So that's actually probably good news. Again, these guys are more like casters. They cast Deep Freeze, which I think paralyzes you, which is why Burning Determination is helpful here, because we can't be paralyzed. So that may be why those spells appear to do nothing. They can also cast Ice Shards, which they're actually pretty good with.
And stay down.
And there's the boss. Not actually sure what she does, other than she's a boss, so she can't be poisoned.
I feel like a fish out of water.
Okay. Yeah, we heard you feel like a fish out of water. Hits fairly hard. Does not have a whole lot of health. I'm actually going to have him heal, though, because I got a nasty suspicion. Yeah, that was helpful. I think I can probably take her down. Yep! There we go. This is the Bow Grandmaster's bow that those mermaids stole from her or something. I don't know what the story was, but she's right outside, so that's yet another Grandmaster quest that we don't really need, because who cares, but I mean, Bow Grandmastery is not great. Oh, it's actually pretty good, but just having a bow is kind of, I don't know, lame. That many points for Grandmaster Bow just seems like a waste. There's the Shard of Air. So that is what we wanted to do here. That gives us a number of quests to turn in, which should hopefully get us another level. And we can go back to the Elemental Forge.
Something lives down there. Let's not disturb it.
From there, we should be able to get the airwalking ability, which will let us go into the mountains. I still don't know where those Naga are. I must have missed a switch somewhere, but I'm not super concerned about it. If I have to look it up, I'll look it up and come back, but I'll do that off camera just for cleanup. These guys are no problem anymore. And they will soon not be any problem at all if we can get promoted. Although he can't get his Grandmaster Warfare until we get into Carthal anyway, just because the Master Warfare Trainer is in Carthal. The Grandmaster Warfare Trainer is right over there.
I'm waiting for them.
But we can't actually do anything with them yet. Okay. The Trainer is actually over there. We may be able to just walk on water to get over here to her. In addition, over there is a shipwreck. I think that mountain might be plot important, but I'm not that concerned about it right now. Oh, nope. For some reason, we can't walk on that water. We can walk out that far and no further. Because I don't know. Seems like it would have been trivial to just connect these 3 areas. Oh, and I also need to go and talk to the Grandmaster for Arcane Discipline. It's unlikely that I'm going to have her Grandmaster Arcane Discipline, but if she gets enough points in the post-game... Okay, so she tells you, come back in 1 week. So, obviously, you know, it's basically a play on the whole patience thing. You come back in a week, she tells you to come back in a month. Now, the problem is that won't start tolling until you actually talk to her and she tells you when to come back. So that's why I wanted to talk to her again. That way, the next time a week passes, I'll be able to advance to the next stage, and then I'll have that available at some point. Okay.
We're here to help.
There we go.
Yes, more glory.
So, you know, no point in us actually getting Bow Grandmaster. We're never going to want to train it, but free experience, not worth turning down. We can also go back to the lighthouse now and talk to the bounty hunter there. Because you notice we've got... Oh, actually, can we actually use it now? I mean, we can't, but... Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess you can use it now. What happens is when you bring this back to him, he tells you that you can use it for a while, because he doesn't really need it, and his son is not old enough or something. So, unfortunately, we're probably just going to end up selling it because it's taking up space and we don't have any users. But hey, you know, he should have thought of that beforehand. Actually, I want to increase his spirit. He's blowing through much more mana than she is. As for skills, not much to speak of here. There we go. So she can get Master Two-Hand, which will increase her critical hit chance. Since she's not getting the auto-crit, having extra crit's not a bad idea. It's not going to help her a ton, but it does help a little. Probably going to get Primordial to Master now. And for her, you know what? I am going to take her to Grandmaster. It's worth it just for the massive bonus to regeneration and Stone Skin. Even if she pretty much is not going to be getting a ton of benefits from casting offensive spells.
Great! Enemies to kill!
Okay, we got some mermaids. These might be regular mermaids. I can't remember if they're regulars or elites. They don't look like elites. And if they're regulars... Okay, they are elites. Not a problem. We'll just drop a poison cloud so that they're not shooting at us. And a Burning Determination. Because if she deep freezes us, she might try to paralyze, which she did. So I'm glad I remembered that. Or I might have had to reload for no reason. I think you're competing with her for most annoying sound effects here. Okay. And again, I don't think... Yeah, there we did. 100. I think it's 100 unique steps, so you have to walk on 100 unique water tiles, so we can now get Water Grandmaster if we want it. I don't want it just yet, but we can get it if we want it. Now, I could actually do the Air Shard now, but
Too much sun and wind.
I might actually want to go into Carthal. And the reason for that is, first of all, it allows us to get her promotion sewn up, and since we can get Earth and I think Water Grand Mastery now, it might be worth it to train her as soon as possible, just so that she can help us out. The other thing is that we can promote, but he can't get Grandmaster Warfare until we get into Carthal, and she can promote and would actually be pretty good. But I think the Sphere Grandmaster might also be in Carthal, I can't recall. So ultimately, it's easier, so we might as well just go in there and do it. And we've also got
Like
enough.
the forests, reminds me of the islands.
Let's head over to that sewer entrance that I pointed out a long time ago and then completely ignored. It's just over there.
Well, thank you for that.
We'll pick up the buff here. I don't think we'll need it. It's much easier than some of the areas we've just been in. Yeah, don't even ask me what that's about. Okay. Now we meet Morgan's informant.
Yes! Don't we have better things to do?
And she basically explains that there's bad things going on in the city and that her father,
Between the various
she has
secret
has
needed to hit
any
Sam
contact
back to
with
think
him.
Those castle builders have way too much free time to hand.
We got elite giant spiders, which we fought before. They weren't a huge threat then, and they're not a tremendous threat now outside of poisoning people, which poison is really the least of our worries right now.
I feel stronger.
Great, I needed to hit something.
Treasure and some spiders.
Oh, yes! I feel strong!
Again, these guys are considerably less of a threat than they would have been if we'd come here a little earlier. Even then, poison just hurts you, it just deals damage to you, which is certainly the least of our problems, really. Especially physical damage. Just for fun. Oh, I tried to walk into the poison cloud and it wouldn't let me. Dissipated too soon. There's a secret, I'm pretty sure right here, which I don't have the scrolls for, unfortunately.
Oh, I don't. I feel stronger.
There's also a facehugger, but it came at us from a long distance, so didn't have much opportunity to actually get up on us. It drains mana, but we barely have any mana, so whatever. Drink an antidote and rest.
Great, I needed to hit
Yeah,
something.
that's the treasure from that other room. If we found this, if we hadn't found the secret, that would reveal to us that it was there. But I knew it was there. I just don't have the ability to detect it.
And stay down.
There are some enemies there. They aggroed us around the corner, which not a huge issue. Let's see here. What do I want to do? It's probably cheaper. There's also some spiders, but again, I'm not hugely concerned about spiders. Blizzard. It's a bit unusual considering she has almost Grandmaster tier abilities there. Okay, that did actually hit us fairly hard. But we can just get him out of unconsciousness pretty fast. Yeah, he can't really heal, so I'll just block. Okay.
And stay down.
And there's still an enemy somewhere. It's a spider. Good news is, that's pretty much the end of this dungeon. There's the entrance to Falagar's mansion, which is another dungeon, so we're not technically done. But that ends the sewer part. There's some switches here, but I don't want to touch them yet. There's a switch puzzle of sorts in this room, and it's kind of odd, but...
Well, thank you for that.
So I don't want to mess with it until I can remember what it's for. Here we've got blackguards. I think we may have fought these before. They're basically improved militia. They resist air, which is, this is an area where air magic will start to struggle because you fight a lot of blackguards and they're air resistant. Otherwise, they're very similar to these guys. That's the key to the second floor. Some of these doors are basically closed just because of... Okay, now there's Ripley. The last of the Lost Lambs quest.
Something's coming our way. Be ready.
And he stunned me. I should have just pre-buffed. I wasn't sure where I was supposed to be stepping. But yeah, Ripley is the last Lost Lambs quest person, so...
I feel stronger.
Looks like they smell us. Yes.
Always happy to help nicely.
He can purge us. Fortunately, he only purged our celestial armor, which may be our worst defense anyway. And he removed liquid membrane. That's a little more of a problem. Okay, we killed him, so we've taken care of all three of the guys. So that's another quest that we could turn in. And we've got some blackguards. Who I thought there were some behind us, and there may be, but they're not right now, so that's good. Lost our buffs, though. The only one I'm really concerned about is Burning Determination, because as with Militia, these guys can stun us. And that's something I want to avoid.
I kill you.
Okay, Will and Resolve got another level. Let's see what that's got. Okay, yeah, it's retaliation damage. It's not great, but it's pretty good. And considering we're kind of money-strapped, that's fine. There's another of the switches. Again, I don't want to touch it just yet. I think there's a secret here. I should probably really be getting more of those Burning Determination scrolls or something, but not going to do that yet. Now, we could actually leave and go out into Carthol now. That was the only required boss fight, really, for this. This may also be a secret. Can't for the life of me remember sometimes. Extremely plain walls or things that are different colors, those are the ones to be suspicious of. Okay, now we've got a switch here and 2 down. A switch basically right here. And then I think 1 here. And 1 here. And in different configurations, they open some of these doors that are unopenable. I just need to remember what those configurations are. So I'm going to save just in case. I mean, it's really just a matter of running around and toggling them. Okay, so that one opened something. Okay, open this door.
Hey, I needed to hit something.
I think this is the only one that's necessary to flip.
Well, thank you for that.
But I can't completely recall. And there's also a mage, dark wizard, but he's not immune to skullcrack.
Kill you!
Okay, that opened that, but that wasn't super important. What we want to do is open one of those two. We also want to open, or we want to get a key for this one. That one opened this one. I think there may be an ambush in here. Or maybe there's just nothing in here. So the last one that we need is, I think, that one. Which, I think you have to flip that other switch down and then flip this one, maybe? No, that one didn't do it, and it closed that off again, which is not a huge issue, I just don't recall. Which one's which? That opened something. Or maybe it closed something. Okay. Okay, that just closed everything off. So there's an order I need to do this in, and I'm trying to remember what it is. It's this door that I need to get into. Trying to remember what this switch pattern is. Okay, let's make sure everything's reset. First. Okay, reset everything. Okay, they're all reset, so now we do this one. this one, and I think then we do this one. There we are.
Great! I needed to hit something.
Yes, I feel strong.
Now, poison's really good against the Blackguard because basically they will wear themselves out on it pretty easily. They have a lot of defense, but poison does a lot of damage to them because they don't have a whole lot of earth resistance, and you can just kind of wear them out. This is definitely an instance where as long as you have Burning Determination so you're not getting constantly stunned, you can definitely wait these guys out. And the key is somewhere. Where is that key? Key to the second floor of the mansion is definitely here on the first floor. I just can't quite remember where. Maybe it's in one of these other rooms. There should be an interact prompt or something. I don't think it's behind one of the secret rooms, so I don't think that's the case. But, I'm trying to remember where it actually was. Well, I can look back for it in a minute, but maybe worth just going outside just to make sure that it's not something where it didn't load and that it just could be because we had an issue earlier with an invisible chest, so it could just be a circumstance where it's here but it's not visible. Unless I somehow picked it up without noticing. No, I didn't. Okay, well, I will just go out into Carthal here. Now, while we're here, we meet with the guy we met at the beginning of the game again, who reveals that incredibly conveniently, we've arrived just as the gates of Carthal have been reopened. So, turns out that it was completely pointless for us to sneak into town because, by sheer coincidence, the siege was lifted and someone has risen to the top in Carthal and has opened it for business again. But this is a bad person, so naturally we're not going to be too pleased about that. But it does give us access to all of the folks in Carthal. Which, among other things, has a pretty nice store, which I believe has the best axes and maces. Yeah, there's the Dwarven Runic Axe, which 38 to 82, 37 to 87, so very similar to the Hacker in terms of power. So a Relentless Dwarven Runic Axe would probably be better than what we have, but it doesn't look like we have anything of the sort here. So this would be where we'd be getting our endgame axe upgrade for Hitter, but he can get by with the Hacker for right now, so it's not really a big deal. And I'd be wanting a Mana Drain one, which I have no idea how relatively rare those are to get in this particular shop, so these probably aren't worth a ton. I believe over here is where we will find the Spear Grandmaster. Oh hey man, what's up? The Spear Grandmaster we have to promote here, but again, this is just a case where we don't have any quest or anything to do. We just talk to the guy and train. So as soon as she's promoted, she can get Grandmaster Spear, which we will definitely want. Now other than that, there's not a ton here that I think is all that important. There's a couple of quests. There's an appraiser who I think he identifies items for you, but we're so broke. Although I say that now, we've got 16,000 gold, but we were so broke that I really needed the training. These doors are deceptive. They don't actually go anywhere, at least not in any point in the game where you can actually walk up to them just normally. They lead to basically the capital of the city, which for whatever reason they don't want us going to, so you can't actually go in there yet. So we'll just continue the time-honored Might and Magic tradition of drinking random things out of barrels. And, more importantly, we've got the Carthal Chapel here, which we don't care about for training purposes or anything, but you may recall that at the very beginning of the game, the supposed reason why we even came out here was to bring our mentor's ashes to the chapel in his home city, which we can now actually complete this quest. So there you go. We get a ton of experience for actually remembering to do the thing that we came to town to do. Even though at this point, I'm sure most people would have completely forgotten to even do that. In addition, we can get the last of the Naga tea, which you'll notice has been appearing on this, which means that we can turn it in. This is the part that I think is very confusing about this quest, because you can start looking for the tea before you have any reason to have any expectation that you need the tea. And then this is like, oh hey, here's all the tea that you've gotten, so obviously something is to be done with the tea here. This is the spell shop, which I don't think there's anything specifically good here except a Prime Magic Master, and I think some Master Prime Magic spells, as well as Grandmaster Prime Magic. But we're not going to be using that, probably. Also the Grandmaster Fire spell, Fire Burst, which is really nice, but it's also really expensive, 60 mana. It's basically like Circle of Winter, it hits everything around the party. But it's extremely expensive. It's mostly for emergencies. Otherwise, Fire Blast is just more efficient and tends to do more damage for the amount of mana that you're dumping into it. But it can be really good if you are surrounded. There's also a sewer access here. Don't want to do that yet. There's not a whole lot in the sewers that's really worth bothering with, so this is the area with, I think, the best magic focus sales. Yeah. Archmage's Orbs. Dragon Orbs are the best ones. Archmage's Orbs are almost as good. 5 and 6 points. But nothing that I really want here. And just some generic rings and amulets, I guess. Do we have Whispering Shadow Scrolls? Man, those are expensive. I need to buy more of those, but probably going to need them at some point. So, I'll hold off on it just for a minute. The other thing that's worth looking for around here is, I believe, the armor shop, which is
not complaining, are you?
Yeah, there's the heavy armor master, which that's okay. And then this guy sells some pretty nice stuff. The heavy armor that he sells is good if you like heavy armor. I don't. So it's decent stuff if you want to get that. But he also sells some pretty nice just general stuff. Like here's two fire magic scholar ones, which he's got nothing of value here. So for +4 levels of the fire magic skill, yeah, we'll trade that. Boots of the earth magic scholar, which I think the holy sandals are going to be better there, especially because she's going to be more focused on water, but she doesn't even have a good crown here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have any earth magic scholar stuff, but there's some pretty decent stuff here just because it's a decently high level shop here, so worth looking at just to see. There's actually a better shop for hats, boots, and gloves in Carthal itself. So this is kind of the big town of the game. There's a huge amount of ground to cover, but I'm not going to cover all of it on camera because it's not that important. This, I believe, is the guy who actually wants all that tea. Any idea where to start looking? We say after we acquire all of the tea before we even talk to this guy. The reason you want to talk to him, though, and the reason why you want to do this quest, in addition to the experience, you get an elixir of potency for +1 to all stats, which she probably wants. She uses a lot of her stats, so might as well. Mana elixirs, which I think I want to give her 2 and her 1, and then health elixirs, which I'm pretty sure she wants all of. So you get a ton of extra stat potions for doing that quest, and there's basically no combat involved. It's just a matter of talking to the NPCs as you go through the game. Now, it would have been more annoying had the quest actually functioned properly and you couldn't get the tea until he actually asked you to find it, because then you'd have to go out and hunt all these places that you'd already been to and didn't know whether they had tea or not, and that would have been kind of a pain in the ass. So for whatever reason, thank the broken scripting or just them deciding to be nice about it, because we don't have to actually do that. So that's
You're not complaining, are you?
Why are you in such a rush?
Other than that... Oh, and if we go further south in the Harbor District, we'll encounter Sir Christian. There's also a horse horse stables. So this is the fast travel hub now for the game, basically. There's also the slums, which the only reason I would want to go to the slums is for Master Warfare and to continue the Druid promotion quest. So I think I'm going to do that before I stop here, just because I might as well. But I'll leave most of the exploration of just incidental ground coverage for off-camera. This is part of the sequence break here. We would need the Black Fang chest for something in the main quest, but we don't even know that we need it yet, so this just kind of doesn't make any sense. Now here's one area, the slums area is one area where the map being 3D without actually being 3D is kind of a pain, because
There are enemies ahead. I feel stronger.
Because the map itself is only going to be a 2D representation of an area that kind of climbs on itself. So it's just a little confusing. We got this upper area here that's not actually connected to this lower area here, and a number of other things. Now there's slightly more gold in the Carthal chests, but again, it's warrior difficulty, so there's just not as much of it, and otherwise there'd be a pretty decent amount of change in there. But it's better than nothing, and we are actually okay on money now, as long as I don't make any further large investments, which, see, there's those areas are actually, I think, above us, and you can't actually walk on them. Let's see, I don't think it's in here. Oh, it is here. Yeah, there's the Warfare Master. Finally, we can dump our points into Grandmaster Warfare, although we're not promoted yet, but we will be soon. So there we go. Warfare is ready to Grandmaster as soon as he promotes.
Why are you in such a rush?
What should we put more points into? Either more evade or some endurance. He could probably use the 5% extra health, honestly. It's not much, but probably with these survival ones, it's often a lot better to just get a couple of them to expert than it is to really dump points into them. Now, dodge is really good if you get a bunch of points into it, and I might, once these guys are squared away, start actually dumping a bunch of points into that. Let's see. Arcane Discipline, though. Magic hurts her more than anything else, but we'll see what happens once we get that to expert. And more into Primordial, just because I do want him to master that eventually, and I do want her to Grandmaster that eventually, which we'll get to, but not right away.
What are you doing?
Again, I think her perception is doing okay. I don't think I need to start raising it again. So that's good. That's our Warfare Master. Now I think over here somewhere is the person we want to talk to for the Druid quest. Yeah, I think it's either this guy
This city is
or...
beautiful, but lacks a bit of green.
There it is. Yeah, so he's a Fire Magic Master, which we don't need. And he will reveal himself to be the demon.
While Malik had managed to escape through an inferno.
So that's kind of stupid, but the only reason why we were being sent after that demon was to get this magic book, which as soon as we exposed him as a demon, he just kind of like ran off. And he left the book behind. So that's one of the reasons why Druid is a nice class, because you don't really have to do anything for it. You just get the quest from the guy who's just standing around, and then you go into Carthal, which that's the only real difficult part, is that you have to go into Carthal. And from there, you just talk to the guy, and he drops his book and runs. And then you take the book back, and you're a Druid Elder. So that's something that I may want to do here real quick before I stop. It's going to be incredibly disappointing, though, if you're expecting something awesome from a promotion or something. It's not going to change her appearance or anything like that. All it does is basically give her a couple new abilities, because she's a Druid, so I think she gets 2. And it allows her to Grandmaster things, which that's the real reason that I want it, is to Grandmaster Earth and Water. Other than that, I'll leave the rest of this area. I know there's not really anything important over there, just some areas to walk through. Still, I feel like filling in some of the map here just obsessively, even though there's, again, really nothing here. Okay, so Druid Elder. Where was that guy? Did I actually have the presence of mind to mark the map, or did I only mark the Grandmasters? Destiny, Ward, Earth Ward, Air Ward. I probably forgot to actually mark where that dude was. I know he's in a forest, but, you know, an elf in a forest is not a very good direction in terms of where the hell I'm supposed to go with this guy. I think he's west of town. But for the life of me, I can't remember where. I may have to look that one up.
I feel so tired.
Oh, they haven't rested. Well, whiny babies. We'll go to the inn then. Okay, he's in the jungle. Yeah, I think I know where he is. I've already talked to him though, so I know I can access him without water or wind walking, because I must have been able to do so to get to talk to him in the first place. there's the horse stables, and then Sir Christian is over there. So both boats and land travel are available. So you can go between here, Sea Haven, and Sorpagal.
There are enemies ahead.
Well, thank you for that.
You can take the, I think the coaches to Sorpagal or Sea Haven. You can take the boat to Sea Haven or the Crag. So this is a good spot if you've got Spirit Beacon, which we don't yet. We could get scrolls, but he's going to master Prime, and then he'll be able to cast it. Spirit Beacon is similar to Lloyd's Beacon in other quests or other Might and Magic games. It essentially just we're also advancing the main quest there by talking to that lady. She basically tells us how to contact the rebels. Additionally, Fallen Star, I turned that in at the beginning. That was the quest to give the meteorite to the Smith in Sea Haven, and we had to come back in a week, which I've ignored that because, frankly, it doesn't matter, because we're not going to be using a one-handed sword, but we can go pick up the one-handed sword relic and get some experience from that. I'll probably do all those quest turn-ins off camera because they're not very interesting. It's just experience gathering. But in the meantime, just grab all that gold. At this point, you can actually walk out of Carthal, and you should be able to walk back into it. Sometimes you can't because there are bugs, but you can fast travel, so it shouldn't be impossible to ever get in here. And I don't think the bugs are going to happen in this case. Now I can actually afford to fast travel. I've been avoiding it so much. And I do want to go back to Falagar's mansion, because there is another shard in there. I believe it's the light shard, which would allow us to do both the air and light shards at the same time. So I am going to have to go back there and look for that key. I'm sure it's around, I just don't remember exactly where it was. If I did have the wind shard active right now and had the wind blessing, I could probably cut the journey to the Druid Elder guy a little shorter, because I believe he's like 2 teleports away.
Too much sun and
like
wind.
you warp up there, and then there's like another teleporter right next to it that warps you into the jungle over there. There he is. There's the guy. So yeah, this teleporter would take you to somewhere up here, and then you could warp to that teleporter, and that would take you right to the Druid Elder guy. But we can just walk around.
When night comes, forest is enemy.
So we'll
Brigands
do that.
can come. I'm waiting
Look,
for
there aren't
them.
going to be any brigands. We've gone through this area like 5 times. Everyone is dead. They don't come back. Okay, so we talked to the Druid Elder guy. Do the quest, and that's it. Now she's an Elder Druid. That's it. We get some experience for it. Her title changes. That's it. Now she does get 2 things from this, in addition to the ability to Grandmaster things. She picks up 2 nice abilities. Harmony, which calms all enemies. Basically, it prevents any enemies around the party from attacking you. In general, Poison Cloud is going to be better because it's cheaper and it does a similar effect, but it's kind of neat. And Nurture, which is actually really good. Nurture is basically kind of a smart heal. It's about the same amount as Regeneration in terms of cost, but every turn, and like Regeneration, it lasts a number of turns. Every couple of turns, I may actually replace Celestial Armor with this. Every couple of turns, or every turn or so, what it will do is find out who has the lowest health in the party, and it will go ahead and heal them. So it's intelligent, it finds the weakest party member, and it gives them a big heal. So it's kind of like the single target equivalent to Regeneration's party heal. Only the Druid Elder gets it. So it's really nice. And it's also another potential reason to Grandmaster Earth, because it is an Earth spell. even though it's considered a promotion spell, so you don't actually need a specific degree of earth magic to get it, but it scales with your earth skill. So between the two, if she has Grandmaster Regeneration and Grandmaster Nurture, she should be able to keep us up through pretty much anything, as long as I remember to cast the spells in advance. Now let's also, since we're on the subject...
I'd rather not sleep too close to the local.
Okay, now what I want you to take a look at is Blizzard here. So, 20 mana, 101 to 141. We can do the quest because we walked on water.
More glory!
And it's expensive to train her in water, Grandmaster, and I probably would want to hold off on it normally, but... Okay, now, 144 to 201, and Liquid Membrane is almost 30% damage. The reason for that is that when you Grandmaster a spell school, you gain an additional 5% spell power per skill level. Now, 5% spell power per skill level is what each point gives you, so essentially you're getting 25 times 5%. When you Grandmaster, you now are getting 25 times 10%. So it's a tremendous increase. Like, if we look at her... magic powers, which is basically just the multiplier. This is based on her magic skill and just her skills. She's getting a 5.7% or 5.7 times multiplier to all of her water effects, whereas her earth, which she almost has to Grandmaster, is only 3.7. So a Grandmaster training for a mage is pretty huge, especially for the Liquid Membrane. That will drastically reduce the amount of damage that we end up taking. See if any of these are worth any money. Oh, Earth Magic Ring. That might be good. I think I'll actually... Don't know if it's such a good idea to remove the Feeble Mind Ring. I'll save this extra Feeble Mind Ring, but probably worth the risk just for the extra earth and water. That's the other thing too. Grandmaster scales with points that you get from gear. So this plus 5 levels of water magic skill was giving her about an additional 25% spell power. Now it's giving her an additional 50% spell power because she's a Grandmaster in water. So really good. And she's the first promotion. We're almost close to a level, so I almost want to see what quest can we turn in. We can turn in that in Sorpagal. We can go to Jasad, talk to that there. It's actually a fair bit of experience that we can pick up. So let's go to Sorpagal, turn in Lost Lambs, and I think that's everything we need to do in Sorpagal. Oh, we need to talk to Jasad, but I don't think we get anything for it.
And I thought the day life was boring here.
For some reason, they gate a relic behind finishing the Jasad quests, but you can't even really finish them until way late in the game. To the point where the relic that you get for it is almost useless.
Yes, more
For
glory.
the sky's power is in me.
Anyway, she reveals that she was their mother, which that's not a huge surprise because she kind of lets that slip early in the quest. So basically she's like, my sons turned out to be crap, so I wanted you to kill them. You could have spared them, but, like, seriously, who cares? And she doesn't actually care that we killed them. She's like, yeah, well, they probably deserved it. Which is why you never want to disappoint your paladin, Mom. Anyway, I think I edited this so that you'd get the relic sooner, just because it was insane how late it was. This is probably a better time in the game to get it, but it's a dagger, so it's largely useless to us. Except possibly to sell. Which we'll probably just sell the Bounty Hunter Sword as well. That gives us another level, which is kind of good. That's what I wanted there. Let's see what we got here. I'll probably do some more training and stuff off screen. Although I'll have to be careful about that, because the Grandmaster trainings are pretty expensive. They're about 5k. A little more, actually. 5.5k. So I don't think there's any way to negotiate that down. The negotiator guy only works with shops. So okay, so he can expert endurance. I'll decide what to do with the rest of that point. She can't quite expert Arcane Discipline. She can Grandmaster Earth, and I may well do that, but I may wait, because I also want to make sure. He can Master Primordial, so I'll need to go back to Carthal anyway, because I do want to go to Falagar's mansion there. Won't be doing all of that now, but I will be doing at least some of it, so we can just go back to Carthal, Master Prime, and get some spells there. So, like I said, I had some money, now I don't. To Grandmaster everything that I'm going to want to Grandmaster, I'm going to need 40,000 gold or something, so I may have to make some decisions here. Now, Spear Grandmaster is definite, Warfare Grandmaster is definite, Fire is definite. I may hold off on Earth just for now, just because it's a lower priority, and she's pretty good at it as it is. So, we can get Master Prime here. And we can also pick up the Prime Master spells, which are actually pretty useful. Which are Implosion and Spirit Beacon. Now, Implosion, I don't know that I would have much use for, so I'm probably not going to buy it. Spirit Beacon I am going to buy because it's pretty useful. Implosion is an interesting spell. It's the only really good direct damage Prime Magic spell, and it does a lot of damage to one target, and then it does percent-based damage to all targets in the same square, so it can actually do quite a lot of damage, although it's not going to blow up an entire group like Fire Blast will. But if it's the only thing that you have, like if you put somebody who's like a support guy with like Earth and Prime, Implosion can become their kind of their primary spell.
This will be easy.
So it's by no means bad at all. It's actually pretty darn nice, but for someone who can only Grandmaster Prime, I would call it highly questionable. Now the key is supposed to be right there, I have learned. But I am not seeing the key. So I don't know what's going on there. Well, I'll just have to examine that. If I miss the key, then I miss the upstairs area and a couple of shards, or a shard, but it's not plot critical, but I would hate to have that bugged out. But I don't know what to do about it, so. This game is not known for being super bug-free. So for the moment, we'll just hang out with that. I'll get some stuff done. Oh, you get a mark here if you promote it. You also get marks for completing the acts, which inexplicably I've gotten no marks for completing any acts, even though we're in Act 3. So, don't know. Sometimes this game is buggy. So, for now, we're doing alright. We've got some pretty decent boosts, and if she's got 5.8x, he's going to have a lot once he Grandmasters Fire. But to do that, we're first going to need to get the Wind Shard, so we're going to have to go back to the Elemental Forge. I'd like to get the Light Shard first, so I'm going to be trying to see what's going on in Falagar's mansion there that I can't find the key to the next floor. If I get Wind and Light, then we can turn them both in, and then from there we can be working on these guys' promotion quests, which, with her helping out with Grandmastered stuff, she could pick up Tsunami as well, I think at the Crag. Blizzard and Liquid Membrane should be fine for now. I don't really need Tsunami yet, and it would be very expensive, and we're already broke again, so I don't want to do that just yet, but we'll go from there, and I may be back later with a different game. Probably won't be Might and Magic today. If I come back, I may do Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm taking the Final Fantasy Tactics 1.3 mod, and I'm doing like a text pass to just kind of clean up the script, clean up the names of objects and equipment, add some new spell quotes, make sure that the grammar is fixed in other spell quotes, and just kind of do some neat stuff with that, but I haven't had much time to get around to actually playing it yet to test out a lot of the changes. So we'll see how that goes. But until then, I'll just mess around, get some training done, although, frankly, I'm already so broke I can't afford it, but we're in good shape. Despite being perpetually broke, we haven't run across a challenge yet that we can't beat. So really, I'm just kind of whining about not being at my absolute top peak, in which case we would just steamroll everything. We've been more than adequately capable of handling any threats that are thrown at us. The only real issue is running low on mana potions, and we still have a bunch of them. It's just, normally I would have a lot more. But that's fine, so we should be good.